You know, the story of artificial intelligence, it isn't just one story. It's really the story of a deep, decades-long conflict between two totally different ideas, two different philosophies on how to build a thinking machine. But what if the future isn't about one side winning? What if it's about them finally coming together? Okay, let's get into it.
I mean, when you boil it all down, the entire history of AI really comes back to this one single question. Do we build intelligence by meticulously teaching a machine the rules of logic step by step, or do we just show it a ton of data and let it learn the patterns of the world all by itself? For the longest time, everyone in the field thought you had to pick a side.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to trace this whole incredible story. We'll start with these two souls of AI. Then we'll look at the first great idea, the world of logic, and its powerful rival, the world of patterns. After that, we'll see how they're being brought together in a revolutionary new way, explore its mind-blowing impact on healthcare, and finally ask the big question, what does this all mean for the ultimate quest for AI?
All right, so let's kick things off at the very beginning. The journey to create machine intelligence? Yeah, it definitely hasn't been a straight line. It's been more like a giant tug-of-war between two really powerful, opposing philosophies. You can think of them as the two foundational pillars the whole field was built on.
Okay, so on one side, you've got symbolic AI. Let's call it the logician. This approach says that intelligence comes from clear, explicit rules and knowledge graphs that we humans can actually write down and understand. It's kind of like the left brain of AI, super logical, structured, and very deliberate. And on the other side, you've got connectionist AI, or the pattern finder. This is the powerhouse behind all the deep learning we hear about today. Here, intelligence just emerges from finding statistical patterns in massive amounts of data. This is your right brain. It's intuitive, associative, and it learns from experience.
Let's start with that first one, the original vision for AI. People literally call it good old-fashioned AI, or GoFi for short. And for decades, this was the way to do it. It was all built on this really elegant idea that we could just codify all of human knowledge and put it inside a machine.
The core idea here was pretty straightforward. Intelligence isn't some kind of magic, right? It's just a system of logic. So if we can represent the world using symbols and then write down all the rules that connect them, simple stuff like if a drug's toxicity score is below 5, then it is safe, then boom, we can build a machine that can actually reason. It's all about building knowledge from the top down.
And this quote from AI pioneer Douglas Lennart, it just perfectly captures the skepticism the symbolic camp had for the other side. I mean, Lennart spent his entire life building this gigantic knowledge base called CYC. And to him, neural networks were basically just sophisticated parrots. He argued they were just remembering and espousing, spitting back patterns they'd seen, but they could never truly understand and infer new things the way a logic-based system could.
And you know what? They had a point. The biggest strength of this approach is its transparency. Because it operates on clear rules that humans wrote, a symbolic AI can explain its reasoning perfectly. It can literally show you the exact sequence of logical steps it took to get to an answer, just like showing your work on a math problem. This makes it trustworthy, and as a bonus, it doesn't need to see billions of data points to get started.
But, and this is a huge but, here's the fatal flaw. The real world isn't a clean, logical rulebook. Not even close. It's messy, it's noisy, and it's full of surprises. And it turned out that symbolic AI was incredibly brittle. As soon as you fed it ambiguous or incomplete data, the kind of stuff we deal with every single second, these logic-based systems would just break. They just couldn't scale up to handle the sheer complexity of reality. And that very brittleness is what blew the doors wide open for a totally different idea to storm in and take over. This is the flip side, the antithesis to the world of logic. It's the rise of connectionist AI, the engine behind the deep learning revolution, and it created the powerful but super mysterious black box.
So instead of starting with rules, this approach starts with data, and I mean tons of it. By chewing through millions or even billions of examples, neural networks get unbelievably good at recognizing patterns. This is the technology that's behind almost all the AI we use today, from your phone recognizing your face to the huge language models that are changing everything. Its superpower is that it thrives on the noisy, unstructured data that made symbolic AI just fall apart.
But for all that incredible power, this approach has some really deep weaknesses. We call it a black box for a reason. We often have absolutely no idea how it gets its answers. It can't explain its reasoning. It's also prone to something called catastrophic forgetting, where teaching it a new task can completely wipe out its knowledge of an old one.
And here's the big one. It's a master at finding correlations, but it has zero understanding of what actually causes what. Oh, and of course, it needs an insane amount of data to even get off the ground.
Okay, so let's recap. We have two powerful but deeply flawed approaches. One can reason, but it can't learn from the messy real world. The other can learn from the world, but it can't really reason. For decades, these two camps were basically at war. But now, researchers are finally asking the obvious question. Why not just combine them? Why not get the best of both worlds?
And this right here brilliantly illustrates the solution. This is the big aha moment. In a neuro-symbolic system, these two souls of AI actually work together. You've got the symbolic system, with all its expert knowledge and rules, providing a kind of logical scaffolding. It feeds this refined knowledge to the connectionist system, the neural network, guiding its training, making it smarter, more efficient, and preventing it from making nonsensical mistakes. It becomes this beautiful feedback loop of logic and learning.
And what's so important to get here is that neuro-symbolic AI isn't just some small tweak. This is a fundamental rethinking of how to build intelligence. The goal is to create systems that can both learn and reason, combining the perceptual power of deep learning with the logical rigor of classical AI. Now, I know this all might sound a little bit abstract, but trust me, the real-world implications are absolutely staggering. And there is no better place to see this in action than in healthcare, where this new hybrid AI is already sparking a revolution. First, let's just talk about the stakes. Developing a new medicine is an unbelievably long and mind-bogglingly expensive process. We're talking an average of nearly $3 billion, and it can take over a decade to bring a single new drug to market. The potential to speed that up could change millions of lives.
And this is where hybrid AI helps. This graph tells the whole story. See that orange line? That's your standard deep learning model, slowly getting better as it sees more and more data. Now look at that red dashed line. That's a neuro-symbolic model. By baking logical rules right into the training process, it learns so much faster and achieves higher efficiency with far less data. In drug discovery, that kind of efficiency is an absolute game changer.
And this isn't just theory. The results are already here. We're seeing studies where these neurosymbolic models are tasked with classifying if a potential drug will actually work against diseases like diabetes or triple-negative breast cancer. And they're hitting accuracy rates of over 97%, consistently outperforming conventional deep learning approaches.
All right, now let's move to a really critical area, drug safety. Predicting whether a drug might cause heart problems, known as cardiotoxicity, is vital. On a standard benchmark for this task, traditional models average around 78% accuracy. But check this out. A neuro-symbolic model, this one's called a logic tensor network, or LTN, which is specifically designed to use logical rules, significantly outperforms them, hitting nearly 83% accuracy. That's a massive leap forward in making our medicines safer.
And the impact doesn't stop there. This hybrid approach is being used to enhance the predictions of systems like AlphaFold to design brand new proteins from scratch, opening up new avenues to fight diseases like Alzheimer's. And it's revolutionizing drug repurposing, finding new life-saving uses for medicines that are already approved, which can just slash development costs and timelines. So, we've seen the history, the conflict, and the incredible real-world impact of this synthesis. But where is all of this heading? Well, this brings us right back to the ultimate, motivating goal of all AI research. When it comes right down to it, many experts believe that true human-like general intelligence requires both of these souls. We need the intuitive pattern-matching ability of our right brain and the structured logical reasoning of our left brain. By finally building systems that integrate both learning and logic, neuro-symbolic AI may be the most promising path we have toward that grand goal of artificial general intelligence. And that leaves us with a fascinating final thought to chew on. An AI that can perceive the world like a neural network, but reason about it with common sense and logic. It's an incredibly powerful vision, but getting there is still a massive challenge. Combining these systems is complex, and ensuring they are truly scalable, trustworthy, and robust is the next great frontier. So what do you think the biggest remaining hurdle will be?